All right, welcome. This is going to be the discussion and going over some of the basics here for the upcoming event, guys. So, just to let you know what this is going to be, this is primarily going to just be talking, things along that line. And this is also going to be recorded, so members of the community that can't be here live for the discussion, they'll be able to go back and watch either this stream or other members of the community that are streaming this as well. So just to give you a heads up on what we are doing here today. All right, let's jump in here. All right, welcome everybody. Good to have you all here. Hope you guys are all ready. If you guys want to go ahead and look at the text channel right above this channel, it's going to have basically the guideline that we're going to be going down through here. And then also, if any of you guys or girls out there have anything you want to talk about, any ideas you want to present, any questions, things along those lines, you'll be able to put your input in as well. So just keep that in mind, and then just wait until we go through a little bit of this. I think I'll go through each section, and then I'll see if anybody has anything they want to add. And then you guys can put your hand up to add in on the discussion. All right, so if you pull up the roleplay community discussion text channel, you should see the overall battle plan. Gary, my man, appreciate the resupport, brother. Brianna dropping a ton of shares. Thank you as well. Okay, so starting out, and first of all, if any of you guys and girls are completely new to this entire concept of the Red Dawn event, I would suggest to, at the very least, maybe read like the Cliff Notes for the movie, the 1980s Red Dawn movie. Just so you can get some kind of an idea and on the same page as everybody else. That's the whole idea of this meeting. And we'll be having a staff meeting for the same thing. And then we'll also have a meeting with everybody that's going to be playing right before the event begins. Just because, again, I want to stress just to make sure that we all are on the same page going into this and throughout the entire event. That way we all have, a great experience and a really good time. So to start off, is going to be the Russian invasion. During the Russian invasion, they're going to be parachuting in, seizing control of Paleto Bay. They're also going to be exploring the area of Paleto Bay, because everybody needs to understand that in this circumstance, it's not you in Blaine County. It's not your character, your typical roleplay character in Blaine County. You can play that character, but they're not going to have the same life. Typically, or pretty much, I'll say, the reason that they can't have that same life and that it can't just translate over from the other server is because this is a completely different world, for one. This Paleto Bay is not the same Paleto Bay that's in Blaine County in our server. This Paleto Bay is, 50 miles to the next closest town. Extremely isolated, all by itself. It's not in Los Santos. The same world and everything along those lines. So the first thing you have to understand is that concept alone, is that this is not the same world that you're coming from. This is a completely foreign world. So that's going to be the biggest thing you have to understand. So the Russians, when they're landing in Paleto Bay, they're going to have to explore Paleto Bay. They have to learn where the gas station is. They have to go find the radio station. They're going to have an action map that's going to have certain explanations to them. And I can just open this up here really quick just to give you guys a generalized idea. So the Russians will have their little guide. It'll give them an idea of where certain things are located and how they need to act out those things. The militia will get a guide like this as well. And then these will all be presented so that everybody can understand. There's no secrets in any of this. This is all going to be role played out. So everybody really has to be on the same page to understand this. And the reason I say that is, let me bring that back up real quick. You can see here that this one line is the supply route, okay? Now, that's not exactly to the road, okay? But this is a generalized plan on where the Russians have to run their supplies from this harbor all the way over here to the Polito station where they're based at. No, this is not tonight. This is coming up this weekend. So the Americans and the militia have to know that, because one of their goals is that they have to stage an attack against the Russian supply line at some point in time, take over those vehicles, and then take them back to their own base. So, some of this information will be shared in those lines. The Russians have to capture the radio tower. So, as long as the fuel station, they have to have roadblocks in certain areas. So certain things like that will need to be shared knowledge. The civilians in this initial stage of the invasion, there is no militia starting out. Just because, right now, I guess people could argue that there's people sitting there with guns in their basements ready for an invasion. Those people are paranoid and insane. So we're not going to be going off of any kind of role play like that. The role play that we're going to be doing and expecting here is that everybody is just living their regular life in Polito. You're going to go about acting like you're doing your job, going to the grocery store, you're at the bar, maybe hanging out, you're a police officer in a traffic stop, something along those lines, just in your everyday life. You're out in the bay fishing, maybe on the dock, whatever. All of a sudden you just see parachutes coming in, and you're thinking, what are these parachutes coming in? Is this the U.S.? Is there a military exercise going on? What is happening right now? And then there will slowly be this realization of, no, this is a foreign military. They're not friendly, and they're pretty much taking over. So the mindset initially is going to be fear, hiding from the Russians, and there will be some resistance. Just realistically, I can tell you right now, if I heard gunshots out the window and I looked out the window and I saw some foreign military guys out there, part of me is going to think I need to do something about that. I need to band together with my other neighbors here maybe and see if we can, stop these individuals. So there will be some degree of that going on, but there's not going to be a lot of organized resistance. You'll have one or two people, maybe some guys from the local bar, will band together inside there to try to fight off the Russians in the initial invasion step. But that's going to be pretty much it. So during this period, it's going to be the Russians seizing control, Americans coming to grips with what is going on and either reacting with fear or, fight or flight kind of thing. Moving on then into the next stage. Actually, you know what? Before we go past that, does anybody have anything they want to add to the invasion? So you can see that there is going to be, down here you can see there's more of a rundown on this. The Russians are going to be gaining control. They're going to be gaining purpose as far as what they're there to do. And they're coming up with their tactics, basically. The civilians have the fear, and the militia has there's fear, that there needs to be a militia. So anybody have any questions that they want to put out there? Alrighty, we got one. M10, go ahead.
Is this going to be a one and done type situation on lives?
In other words, like if you die, will you be able to spawn again?
Yes, sir. Because this is going to be a pretty lengthy event, and if we only have one time of being in.
Right. Yeah. So the way that the respawning will go is if you do die, we'll say, the way that is going to be handled is that you will have a 10-minute respawn period. So you will have to wait 10 minutes if you die and you're not revived by, let's say, a medic or EMS. You'll have to wait 10 minutes until you can respawn, or your character or another character again, essentially.
10-4. And then one more thing before I kind of silence back out. Is this going to be is there going to be like set people that are doing the Russian and set people that are doing the civilian, or is this completely a setup thing where everybody's still civilian and it's just something else that comes in as Russia?
So yeah, the way that it's going to be is there will be roles that you can put in for either Russian or on the civilian side of things. Those just haven't been announced yet. But yes, you will be able to pick what side of this you will be going into, and then you will be staying with that side for the remainder of the event. So if you want to be a Russian soldier, there's two different levels of Russian soldier. You have the basic soldier, and then a higher level soldier, and then above that is your squad commander, and then your Russian leadership. Essentially, it'll be the same on the American side. So if you look through in the community event channel, and you look to the second post that is there, you can see that, or rather, the first post underneath the picture. It mentions the positions and the classes. Those will be what you guys will be able to sign up for. And that information will be coming out tonight.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
All right on, brother. All right. Anybody else with their hand up? Zachary? All right, Zachary, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so my question really was about where he had mentioned EMS and getting revived. On the militia level, is that something like a job that can get learned by anybody? Because like, if you're in like a militia mindset, there's gonna be people that pick up those skills, even though there's not like actually trained paramedics or stuff like that there.
The way that would be handled is going to be the way that we'll do this is it's going to be like I know in real life typically militias are already formed ahead of time and things like that. This is going to be a militia that's kind of formed by need. So the way that it'll go is there will be people that will be EMS staff, and then those EMS staff members will secretly be members of the militia as well. So they would have the ability then to help those people. But if you're just a regular person, you won't pick up those skills, essentially. Just because this isn't going to be like a long progressive type of situation. This is kind of like a movie. So along those terms, you'll be kind of set with what you start out with.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, anybody else have anything for the invasion section of this? Any questions? Anything you want to add? All right, we're going to move into the next section then. And if you guys want to just... Here, I'll move you back to the audience. Here we go. Gorilla is a better term. Okay, so then after the initial invasion, it will transition to the occupation of Polito. Now, this is something a lot of people might be confused about, but anytime you have a foreign power, having an occupation, which always fails in the long run, but anytime you have that kind of situation happening, it's not like, life is drastically changed. Sure, in some circumstances that is the case, but in this case, it won't be. The Russians do want to maintain basically the everyday life for the American civilians. They just want to be in control. They want all of the power, resources, things along those lines. But they do want to still see, people out, doing somewhat day-to-day life, just with them in control. So that's something that everybody needs to understand during the occupation. During the occupation, the Russians are going to be patrolling around Polito Bay. They'll have roadblocks set up in certain areas. They're going to have to maintain control of things like the radio station. They have to maintain their supply line, like we mentioned earlier when I was showing you the map. They'll have to be, periodically, I'm not sure exactly what the timetable is going to be, but it's going to be something like every 30 minutes or every 15 minutes, the Russians will have to take an escort team out to this location, pick up a truck that the staff will spawn in for them, and then they will drive that truck, escort it back to their base. During those supply runs, the Americans will have the chance to foil those supply runs, capture those vehicles. If they are able to capture, let's say, supply runs get those back to their base, then staff would be able to reward them with extra things, maybe items, money, medical equipment, vehicles are going to be something that can be found. So essentially, the way that that will be handled is that the Russians would have vehicles being airdropped into them to be used. The way that we're going to roleplay it out is that the airdropping of these vehicles has gone awry, and these vehicles have not been dropped in the designated areas. So they will have to go out exploring for them, either in the mountains, in the woods, along the beach. They're just going to have to explore to be able to find their vehicles and things along those lines. Same is going to go for the militia. The militia aren't going to necessarily be actively looking for Russian equipment, but they're going to be looking for perhaps American equipment that was maybe left in the area from National Guard or something along those lines. So both teams will have to be actively patrolling and getting supplies. The reason for this isn't going to be for active battles. There will be these small skirmishes that will happen. But basically, it's always going to be a hit and run. What you got to understand is the militia is small and fearful, extremely fearful of the Russians. So anytime there's any kind of interaction with the Russians, we have to eliminate them or, quickly so that more Russians aren't attracted to the area, or we have to flee and we have to hide and we have to run. So there's constantly, during the occupation, there's going to be constantly this mindset that the Russians are this overwhelming force that is just a giant, and that the militia is just a tiny group of individuals that, fears for, their annihilation, basically. So it'll be a slow build-up, essentially, during this time period. Now, like I said, everyday life will be going on in Polito. So if you are not a member of the militia, and keep in mind, not everybody is going to be, depending on what position you want to be in this entire scenario. But you might just have regular people in Polito, mechanics or people working at stores, things along those lines, people that are gathering information, people that work at, maybe the bar, things along those lines. So it's kind of like an everyday life going on, but there are things going on in the background, in the shadows. So during the occupation phase, that's essentially what's going to be going on. Does anybody have any questions, input, ideas as far as the occupation phase of this experience will go? All right, Victor. Victor, you there? Nope. Okay. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Jimmy just brought up that the militia can't afford losses. Absolutely. And something you guys got to keep in mind is that you won't be able to just continually spawn in vehicles. If your vehicle gets blown up or destroyed or lost or broken or whatever, it's gone. It's done. You can't get another one. You can't go to the garage and spawn in another one. You can't say, admins, can you guys help us? We need another one. It needs to be role played out. If you get it stuck on the hillside, you get it stuck on a tree, you get it stuck on a rock, it gets blown up just because you guys are being reckless with it, it's gone. So keep that in mind. It's going to be the same for the Russians. It's just the Russians will have more equipment that they'll be able to lose. The militia, though, starting out, they will not be able to take these losses and these things. They have to be taking chances to gain these things, so they definitely don't want to lose them once they gain them. Also, during the occupation, this is going to be when, like I said before, you'll have these missions where um, the Russians will have to be moving supplies, the Americans will be foiling them. The Russians will have to capture the radio station. The Americans will be trying to capture it. Different sorts of events. This is basically when the missions are going to be taking place, is during each one of these sections. The final stage of the event will be the rebellion. And during the rebellion time, this is when the militia and the civilians will be openly attacking the Russians. The end game idea is that the Russians have been slowly getting picked at. You know, they were this giant force at one point in time, but they're slowly getting pieces knocked off of them and getting weaker and weaker and weaker. So that's the idea of this. Meanwhile, the militia has been gaining traction. They're getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So you'll have to the point where now just your everyday civilians in Polito Bay are now, you know, taking pop shots at the Russians, throwing rocks and Molotov cocktails at them, things along those lines, openly being defiant. The Russians are feeling pressure during this time. They're not feeling as in control. They're not feeling like, you know, we're dominating these people. We're feeling like we're in a foreign, you know, we're behind enemy lines at this point in time. So during the rebellion, the Russians will be losing their roadblocks. They won't be out on patrol so much. They won't be able to make supply runs successfully. Eventually pushed back to one location and then either eliminated or they will flee from, you know, the map in some sort of way. I haven't entirely come up with that. We might have it so that the Russians have to flee to the beach where there will be aircraft, helicopters that would pick them up and, you know, flee. So we'll be going somewhere along those lines for the end game. Something that I really got to point out to everybody, though, this is not a war game. This is a roleplay experience. And for many of you, this will be something very new, and it could be very beneficial. If you're new to roleplay in general, stepping into this kind of scenario could be very beneficial and useful, just because this is a lot more structured than just joining into the regular server and going out there and just trying to figure it out. You know, it's like a fly-by-your-seat kind of thing. You don't know how it's going to end by the end of the night. This sort of thing is kind of more structured. We're going by steps. We know what's going to happen in the end. We know how everything is going to play out. So if you want to be one of the people that, you know, are a part of, you know, all of these steps and being able to get an idea of true role play, where you know the role that you're playing it fully throughout the entire time, essentially being an actor. A lot of this is going to be acting. You do need to fear for your life. It seriously needs to be your number one goal out here. I don't want to see civilians just, you know, thinking like, oh, I can just tell the Russians, screw you, you know, this is America. Like, bro, let us put a bullet in your head. Okay? Like, you need to be compliant. You need to be going along with the picture here. You need to be acting according to your character, too. It needs to make sense for your character. The things that you're doing, the way that you're acting, just everything along those lines, that it has to fit. So just make sure you keep that in mind. We really want everybody to take this into a role play frame of mind. Heavily role play. A lot of talking, a lot of discussions. There will be action as well, but it needs to be a lot more dialogue than anything, guys. So that is really why I kind of suggest that you go watch the movie, just so you can kind of get the mind frame or mindset of, you know, the people in this kind of situation and what's going on. Does anybody have any questions right now? Any statements, anything like that? I see two people. Unholy, you can come up first. If anybody has anything you want to add, any ideas, I'm definitely open to some ideas at this point in time. We're still evolving this idea, this whole thing. This is brand new. We've never done something like this before. So we're really relying on the community to really help us out with this. All right, Unholy, go ahead. Chris, I sent Marv an invite. We'll see if he comes.
Still got me?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
I'm just curious on like, can you let us know on like how many people is gonna be part of Russia? I mean, obviously, I got the standpoint just like cops. They're gonna still be coming. Doesn't matter how many there is, right? Um, because there's always gonna have more reinforcements coming in. So I was just kind of curious on like how many militia, that you're looking for, and then how many Russian
Um,
soldiers.
well, that all comes down to how many people are going to participate. We don't know how many people are going to participate. We could start this event and have 15 people show up. You know what I mean? At that point in time, then we're going to have to figure out, who's doing what, how many people will be of each thing. Obviously, we wouldn't have a lot of militia at that point in time. So it's really going to depend on how many people show up. Initially, we put something up. There's 40 people that reacted to it. Today, we put this up. I think there's 20 people that reacted to it. We're here now. We got 26 people in here. If we get 26 people, that'd be amazing. But, I don't know that we're going to get 26 people. So it really depends on how many people show up that's going to determine that.
Appreciate you.
Right on. So ideally, we get 40 people out there. It'd be amazing, but I'm not going to keep my hopes up. Zachary, you're next.
Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, so I have two statements, one question. Or one statement, two questions, sorry. One statement's going to be it's kind of like a guerrilla warfare kind of thing is what you're looking for, right? Along those lines. So
once we're in like the occupation phase of things, yes, the militia will have to act in a guerrilla warfare type of situation. Absolutely. Because they're going to be lower numbers for one. They don't have as many people. They don't have as much good equipment. They have to be picking and choosing their battles, that kind of thing. So, yes.
Okay. Another question that might help you out. Is there a way you can make Willie's there, the grocery store, functionable for like cashiers and stuff like that for your regular civilians? Because you're limited in the area with Polito Bay. That's why I was trying to help out.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely going to be limited as far as, like the buildings and things like that. That's why I was trying to we're still trying to explore what all people can do. But I would like to have maybe some people role-playing as firefighters, some people role-playing in the bar, either as, employees of the bar, patrons of the bar. We'll have, gas station, employee, maybe an attendant. So what everybody got to understand is this is true role-play, right? So it's like we're not relying on scripts and you're making money doing these jobs. You're doing these jobs for the ambience of it, the effect of it. You know what I mean? So we really need, people could role play as being like a truck driver. I just came into town to drop off a load. Now this is going on. Now I'm stuck here. You could be an ice cream man, mailman. It doesn't really matter essentially because of the job. We just need the people to give the idea and the impression that this is kind of the world that exists and these are who these people are. Like this guy over here with an MG, that's a mailman sometimes, and now he's in the militia. But at the same time, somebody mentioned that at the beginning we need people to offer up good scenes of like losing their life just for the ambience of it, right? So you would have let's say that some of the patrons in the bar, obviously they're all riled up, America, Russians are outside, like they're trying to hold them off and stuff. Maybe they're like trying to hold up at the bar and they're having shootouts and stuff. At the end of the day, there's, trained Russian soldiers outside with automatic weapons. Inside you got some drunk rednecks with, 45s and, 380s and shit like that. So they're gonna die. So they need to have the role play sense to be like, I know I'm going to be able to respawn, whatever. There's going to be more to this. I'm going to role play out this scene. I'm going to make this a cool scene. Like, these guys at the bar, they all died in a shootout, essentially. I know I'm going to die. I'm going to do it in this cool role play way. And then I'll start back over. And now it's like, okay, now that guy from the bar died. Now I can get in the mindset of being another person that lives in Blaine County, or sorry, that lives in Polito during this kind of invasion. Does everybody kind of understand that? If anybody's confused about that, put your hand up for me. I just want to make sure everybody kind of understands, like, you know, the real mindset that you have to be in for this entire thing. Anything you wanted to add about the guerrilla warfare part of it, or anything else there, Zachary?
I just had one more question, and then I can pick and choose on the guerrilla warfare if you want. But my other question was, are we still limiting interactions to like groups of 6 with the militia?
Well, what do you mean?
Like how we have it set up now, where like if you're a part of a crew, only 6 can respond.
No,
Like, to a trap.
nothing from the regular servers. Like, yeah, keep everything out of the regular server out of your mind for this server. Nothing
Okay.
translates over.
Okay, yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, and like, you know, as far as the militia goes, you know, if we have 10 people in the militia, you know, obviously you don't want everybody from the militia to leave your camp. So they would want to have some people staying behind with their stuff. They'd probably have 1 or 2 people maybe going into town, trying to pretend like they're civilians, observing the Russians, seeing what their patrols are like. You know, this is the kind of mindset that we want to make sure that everybody's in during this entire thing. So if the militia does want to go do an attack, you know, you could take all 10 guys with you if you wanted to, but is that smart? You know, you're going to lose your entire militia, basically, if you guys get caught or eliminated or what have you. So those are things that need to be considered. But, yeah, I really want you to get Blaine County out of your mind, you know, and some of the rules over there, like the limited to 6 people.
Okay.
All right, aliens for humans. And if anybody has anything to add, like I said, just put your hand up, and you can come up and add your 2 cents if you would like to. Gary, Breezy doesn't know about it. I haven't said anything to him. I haven't sent him any messages or anything along those lines. I'm not sure if he would even be interested in this kind of roleplay, to be honest. But if any of you guys know anybody that you think might be interested in this, by all means, let them know. There you go.
Oh, hey guys, I appreciate the time. I'm so sorry about that. I said the whole question twice.
Oh, there you go.
Real quick. I noticed that Blaine County has a movie night Discord. Is it possible for us as a group to go in there and watch Red Dawn as a big community, maybe tonight or tomorrow night, or even Saturday morning possibly, and just watch it as a community and goof it up?
So it's definitely a possibility if, because of legality, if it's on like Amazon Prime, you know, you could have like a Prime party, and as long as every person had Amazon Prime, then you could watch it. But as far as like, that's how we've done movie night in the past.
Right.
But
So you couldn't. It's not possible to just, because I have it on my computer, just stream it on my computer.
I can't mention on that.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Would it be possible to host a party outside of Blaine County? To watch Red Dawn as a
Absolutely.
community?
Absolutely. And
Awesome,
that
awesome.
sort of thing has existed before, but I don't know anything about it, FBI.
Gotcha.
FCC, whoever may be
For sure, yeah.
inquiring.
I'm
Timmy,
not a
appreciate the
cop.
50 stars.
But yeah, so okay, then that works. Thanks, that's all I needed. I'll do back of house stuff.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, and I would definitely recommend guys to watch the movie just so that you can really get a better idea of like what you're going to be participating in. All right. If there's nothing else, guys, then that is pretty much everything I wanted to go over in this meeting. Just a quick kind of rundown of what this is all going to be about. Oh, looks like Clem has something. And if anybody else wants to get something in, go ahead, throw your hand up. Clem, go ahead, brother. I know, Sophia. I was thinking the same thing. Clem? No, nobody? Going once? Oh, there he is. I invited you. It was funny hearing his regular voice.
Hello?
There you go.
Okay. So, with there being like the militia slash guerrilla aspect to this, but also civilian, is it possible for civilians to also relay information to the militia slash guerrilla?
Absolutely. That's
Okay.
that's a crucial part of it. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
what I was thinking.
Yeah, because like
So,
you
if
want
you're a
like
bar owner, like if you're a bar owner and you see the Russians rolling down Toledo, you can like call them, you know, be like, hey, heading southbound Sonora.
yeah,
And
yeah. You can relay information. I mean, bro, what would honestly be even freaking cooler than that shit is like we can get into like some occupation, like some France occupation, like, you know, from like World War II, where the Nazis are coming into the bar at night to get entertained, and meanwhile everybody that works there is part of the militia and they're all gaining information from the drunk Nazis. I mean, ideally the Russians would be coming to the bar to try to like relax at nighttime and be like, hey, you know, I want you guys got vodka here, you know, and have like this lighthearted thing, and you guys are all cool with them, and you're like, oh, we don't even care who's in charge. You know what I mean? You guys seem fine. Maybe you do a better job with, you know, the government or what have you. Secretly, you're getting information from them. And then afterwards, you're going over and you're making a phone call to the militia and you're being like, hey, look, the Russians were in last night. This guy told me that they're doing supply runs down to the harbor. You know, shit like that. That would be ideal if we could get that kind of role play rolling out. Roger,
Right.
Thank you for the 500 stars,
like,
brother.
it's so much deeper than Russian versus militia and then some civilians. Like it's
Basically,
just
we
want-
want it to be we want it to be this whole world, man. We want it to be this whole like functioning ecosystem, like an organism. You know what I mean? Where it's this whole living thing where, you know, it's more than just what meets the eye.
right. I guess it was more like a statement than a question, but yeah, that's all I got.
Right on.
All right, appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. All right, Jay. Go ahead. Sava, what's up, brother? Wolverines. What's up, Matthew? How you doing, bro? Elder Rhino in the house. Appreciate the 500 stars too, by the way, Roger. You should be able to roleplay any other roles I'm needed. Right on, man. You guys will be able to request what you want to be able to do. You're muted, Jay.
Oh,
there you go.
There we go. All right. Well, I'll go over it again because I'll just keep saying it. You're very. I want to thank you a lot for everything you've done for this community. It keeps evolving so well. And I definitely will be there Saturday. But keep up the good work, bud. And this community is going to keep growing.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do. It's a lot of people say positive notes.
I will see you all Saturday.
All right, man. Right on. All right. Let's see, is there anything else? All right, I'm just checking through. Okay, so yeah, I think that's pretty much everything, guys. That's all. That's everything on my notes that I wanted to go over for now. There's definitely going to be more details that are going to be released here as we get closer to the event tomorrow. Actually, I'm sorry. Hang on, wait. Either tonight or tomorrow, you'll be able to select for the role that you want to be able to participate in this entire roleplay experience. And just to go back over this really quick, for anybody that's not familiar with what roles are available, it's in the community events channel. And you will have your A class, B class, and C class. Within the A class, you have Russian Commander, Polito Mayor, Militia Leader, Squad Leaders. You'll have your B class, which will be Russian Soldiers, Militia Members. Your C class, which is your basic Russian soldiers, and then your Polito Civilians. So that would be people that would just have regular jobs in Polito. You don't actively want to be required to be a part of anything. You just kind of want to be out there in the world, in the atmosphere, if you will. But you still are required to roleplay your given role. So if you're like, I just want to be a C-class person, like a C-class civilian, be like, okay, are you cool with working at the bar? Like being like a bartender or something along those lines. And then we'll get a group of people, we'll put them all together in the bar, then and that's taken care of. And then we'll have some gas station people, we'll get those taken care of into a group. Some firefighters, we'll assign these out to people, make sure that they're cool with the role that they're going to be given. If they're not, we can give them alternatives on what you can be inside of that class. But this is just to try to make it easier for everybody, and also so that everybody is able to participate in some level. All right, guys, that is going to be everything. Unless there's any last-minute questions, I appreciate you all being here and listening. This is recorded, so if you guys want to go back and re-watch and re-listen, feel free to. This was on Discord, YouTube, and Facebook. And this is the Red Dawn event. It is coming up Saturday, the 18th. It's going to be in the event server, the new event server, so not Blaine County 2.1. It's a completely different server. The IP will be released on that day. It's going to be 5 p.m. until we don't know what time. I'm hoping it's going to be a long experience. I'm hoping it lasts a long time. So that's what's going on, guys. Tyler, unfortunately the zombie server is down right now, bro. So that is why you're not going to be able to get into the zombie server. I don't have any kind of ETA on the return of it. So unfortunately, yes, there is no zombie server at the moment. We only have the event server and the main Blaine County Life server. All right, guys, I appreciate it. That's going to be the end of the stream, and we'll be out here. I'm going to be role-playing tonight. We'll be doing some Buddy a Guy. So I'll see you guys then. Later.